A lot of things influence foreign policy, like history, culture, even geography. But an equally important factor is personality. You see, policy is driven by individuals. If someone likes you, they will help you. If they don't, they will make your life harder. So let's look at Joe Biden, the President of the United States. What are his personal opinions and what is his track record on India? Biden, as you know, is an old hand in American politics. He was the US Senator from 1972 to 2008. He was Vice President from 2009 to 2016 and President since the year 2021. So simply put, Biden has been around for a long, long time. In his Senate days, he was closely linked to foreign policy. In fact, he served as chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee. He saw India-US relations evolve up close. And did he approve of it? Well, from most accounts, yes, he did. In the year 2001, Joe Biden wrote a letter to then President George Bush. What did he want? Well, he asked Bush to drop all sanctions on India. Remember, these sanctions had been imposed after India's nuclear test in 1998. Joe Biden wanted these sanctions against India to be dropped. He was also soft on New Delhi after the nuclear tests. In 1998, most senators wanted harsh sanctions. Well, to be honest, Biden also opposed the nuclear tests, but his solution was not sanctions. It was engagement. And this is what he said. India is not a rogue state. It is not a Libya, a North Korea, or an Iraq. It is the world's largest democracy, and it is a country with which we share much in common. Joe Biden was a lone voice then. The nuclear policy shaped his opinion on India. He had another chance in the year 2008. India and the US were negotiating the nuclear deal in that year. And Biden, as a senator, came to India. He was in full support of the deal struck by George Bush. He also voted for it in the Senate. But some of his contemporaries did not, like Bernie Sanders. He was Biden's Democratic rival in 2019. He was one of the 75 lawmakers who now want Biden to lecture Modi. Then came the vice presidency of Joe Biden. He visited India again in the year 2013 as vice president of the US, and he made a trade pitch that has now become a realistic assessment. It was in 2013. Back then, India-US trade was about $100 billion, and Joe Biden wanted it to be $500 billion. The Indian government is also targeting the same now, but Biden talked about it 10 years back. During his presidential campaign, Biden talked about a special bond between India and America, and by and large, his record has been positive. More engagement, more trade, and most importantly, more trust. Under Biden, India became part of the I2U2. This is a West Asian group with 4 members, India, Israel, I2, and the UAE and the US, that's U2. Now we are hearing about jet engines. If Biden clears this deal, it would be a landmark event, almost on par with the nuclear deal, we say. Then you have semiconductors. India and the US signed an agreement to boost innovation in chip making. Both these things are strategically high value, jet engines and chips. Also the Indo-Pacific. Under Joe Biden, the Quad was elevated to heads of state level. The first summit was held in 2021. The latest meeting was in Japan on the sidelines of the G7. I know it may sound like Biden is the perfect partner for India, but remember, there is self-interest here. If Biden is helping India, it's because he's getting something in return, a lot in return, in fact. A valuable partner in the Indo-Pacific, a military and economic power. Biden's India policy is rooted in 2 things. One is realism. The other, you could say, is inheritance. You see, Biden has inherited a pro-India policy. From Clinton to Trump, every president has done their part. Clinton was the first US president to visit India since 1978. George Bush struck the nuclear deal. Obama came for the Republic Day parade. And Trump elevated the relations to comprehensive global strategic partnership. Now it is Joe Biden's turn. He needs to put political capital behind this relationship, but there are challenges too. There always are. Biden keeps talking about human rights in foreign policy. And to be fair, he's not said anything to India or about India, but some in his party want him to. And if he does, well, he risks a lot. For starters, the public opinion back home in India could change. After all, no one likes to be lectured to, especially by an imperfect democracy like the United States of America. So the key for Joe Biden is sticking to pragmatism, to treat India as an equal partner.